This is the story of how Mero ruined her marriage. Mero was a beautiful woman, a Tiv tribe from Benue State in Nigeria. She had it all. She was beautiful, successful, and married to a loving husband, Ako. Together, they had 3 young daughters who brought joy into their lives. But Mero wasn't just a wife and mother. She was a banker, always rushing to work in her well-tailored suit, striving to build her career. In her mind, everything was perfect. With her busy life, Mero needed help at home. So she hired a young maid from a small village named Ngozi. Quiet and obedient, Ngozi did everything she was told. But Mero, she wasn't kind. If she didn't clean fast enough, in fact, she treated Ngozi like she was trash, less than human. If Ngozi made the tiniest mistake, Mero was quick to shout. She was scolded. If she didn't serve dinner perfectly, she would feel the sharp sting of Mero's anger. Mero would not allow Ngozi to eat while everyone was eating because their leftover food was always her meal. What kind of useless work is this, Ngozi? Can't you do anything right? Mero would often scream at her. Poor Ngozi was always dressed in dirty clothes, would wonder why she was being treated like an animal. What happened to all the promises she made to my mom? That she would send me to school, take care of me like her own children. Mero knocking gently. Hello, good afternoon, Mama Ngozi. A frail, elderly woman, Mama Ngozi, comes out, wiping her hands on her wrapper. Mama Ngozi looking at her. Ah, welcome, madam. How may I help you? Mero, good afternoon, ma. I am Mero. I spoke with your sister about your daughter, Ngozi. Mama Ngozi said, yes. Please, come inside, come inside. Mero, glancing at Mama Ngozi. Thank you, Mama Ngozi. Yes, I am Mero. I've come to talk to you about Ngozi. I need someone to take care of my children and house when I am gone for work. I work in a bank, and sometimes the bank manager would send me to other bank branches all over West Africa. And since my children are still very young, I need someone reliable and with good home training to help out. I discussed this with your sister, and she suggested I talk with you about your daughter, Ngozi. Mama Ngozi looks at Mero with hope in her eyes. Thank God you are my sister and friends. This gives me more comfort, madam. Ngozi is my last born. She is very hardworking and always wanted to further her education. But since her father passed, I couldn't send her to school. She had to work. All I want is for her to finish her secondary school and then go to the university. If you promise this, then I will release her to go with you to Lagos. Mero assuring Mama Ngozi, I understand, Mama. I want to help. I will take care of her. Treat her like my own child. Ngozi will be in good hands, Mama. All your requests are granted. I'm going to send her to school as soon as we get to Lagos. Mama Ngozi, her face lighting up with joy. Ah, God bless you, madam. You will make my Ngozi's dreams come true. Mero smiling. I promise, Mama. She will get the education she deserves. I will cover her school fees and I will make sure she is well taken care of. You have my word. Mama Ngozi, overcome with gratitude, reaches for Mero's hands. Thank you, madam. God will bless you for this. Ngozi, thinking to herself, I am 18 years old now. Where will I start from? All the promises she made to my mom before she died are just empty words. Ngozi lamented to herself, crying heavily, wiping her tears away with her dirty dress, which she wears every day and only allowed to wash once in 2 weeks. Ngozi's day as a maid starts at 4:30 in the morning, fetching heavy buckets of water from the neighbor's house. Her feet aching from the early start. From there, she will clean the house, scrub the kitchen floor before waking up the children for school. Getting the children up in the morning was always a big task every day, which always results to Mero beating her or slapping her for not waking up the children gently. Ngozi recounted several times he has slept outside the house on a bare floor whenever the children get to school late. Ngozi! 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 Mero shouted. Oh, so now you are counting my voice, eh? We are mates, Abi? Where are the clothes I told you to wash before I left for work? Ngozi shaking. Madam, I couldn't wash them. I cut my fingers when I was slicing vegetables this morning. Mero said. Repeat what you just said. Maybe my ears are blocked. I don't understand. Before Ngozi could open her mouth to say another word, Mero pounced on her, beating her with every object she could lay her hands on. Ako was in the living room when he heard Ngozi screaming for help. He rushed out and found his wife, beating Ngozi mercilessly. He was very angry at Mero. He grabbed her and pushed her towards the dining area. Why are you so wicked to this girl? What has come upon you? Ako screamed angrily. If she's not following your rules or not doing things the way you want it, send her back to her village. Ngozi, in pain and bleeding from the beating, ran to the kitchen, fell on her knees begging God to take her life. God, take my life. Ngozi screamed. It is useless and worthless. All I do in this house is cook meals, care for the children. I barely have a moment to rest. Throughout the day from 4:30 a.m. to 11 p.m., my hands are always busy with laundry, scrubbing floors, and running errands. I barely eat, which is always my punishment. And when I do, what do I get, Lord? Leftovers. This hard work I am subjected to is too much for me to bear anymore. Mero went to work the next day, complaining to our co-worker Jumoke about Ngozi. Honestly, I don't know what's wrong with her girl, Ngozi. She is too slow with everything. Jumoke said to her, really? I thought you said she was hardworking when you first hired her. She was at first, but now it's like she drags her feet. I asked her to clean the living room, and 2 hours later, she is still there, like she's lost in a world she created for herself. Jumoke said, maybe she's tired. You said she works long hours. Tired? Please, she's just lazy. I don't know what else to do with her. Ngozi, on the other hand, woke up with a big resentment for Mero. To her, she was just a maid to everyone in that house. One day, when she saves enough money, she will pack her things and go without telling anyone. She continued enduring the pain of staying in the house. One day, the bank ordered Mero to supervise another branch of the bank in Yobe State for 2 weeks. It wasn't long after she left that Mero's husband, Ako, started to notice Ngozi in a different way. Ngozi always felt at peace with Ako whenever Mero was absent. She yearned for kindness and got it from Ako. At first, it was innocent. Ako would linger a little longer in the kitchen after dinner. He would thank Ngozi in a way that made her feel seen, unlike the way Mero treated her. Day by day, little by little, Ako found comfort in Ngozi's quiet presence. And while Mero was too focused on her job, too consumed by her career, a different relationship was blossoming right under her nose. Her trip to Yobe State left Ako and Ngozi more closer than before. Mero came 2 days earlier than expected. She was tired and frustrated. She opened the door and heard something. Laughter. Not her children's laughter, but something deeper, softer, coming from the living room. She walked in and there they were, Ako and Ngozi, sitting too close, talking in hushed tones, sharing smiles that weren't meant for Mero to see. Mero screamed, "What's going on here?" Ako got up and said to her angrily, "What do you mean by that?" Mero was suspecting something going on between her husband and the maid, but every time she confronted Ako, he would dismiss her. "You are being paranoid," he would say. Ngozi is just the maid. But in reality, something had changed, and Mero, for all her success and strength, couldn't control what was happening. Ngozi felt Mero's distaste to Ako's kindness to her. The resentment showed in their conversation. Mero treated her more terrible than before. This stirred a thought in her mind. Then the unthinkable happened. Mero received divorce papers. She was shocked, heartbroken, furious. She confronted Akko, demanding answers. "You are leaving me for her? For a maid?" She screamed, and Akko, he just looked at her with cold eyes and said, "Ngozi treats me with more respect than you ever did. She's been more of a wife to me than you. Now, I want you to go inside that room, pack all your things and get out of my house. You are not the same woman I married 6 years ago. You allow the devil rule your life. I don't want that in my house anymore." Mero screamed, begging Akko not to end their marriage because of Ngozi, but Akko already got his mind made up. There was no turning back. Mero packed her belongings and left the home she built with Akko. Her children would be at the mercy of Ngozi. "Ah," she cried, "I did not see this coming." Her maid that she hired to take care of her children has now become her husband's wife. Ngozi was now the new wife. Yes, the same maid who used to sweep her floors, wash her clothes, and take care of her children are taking her place in her home, in her husband's life. Lesson learned. In life, the way we treat others, especially those we think are beneath us, can shape our future in ways we cannot foresee. Mero's downfall came not just from the betrayal of her husband, but also from her pride and harsh treatment of Ngozi. The lesson learned here is one of humility, kindness, and the importance of valuing every individual, regardless of their status. Proverbs 16 verse 18. Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. And Jesus also teaches us in Matthew chapter 7 verse 12. So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you.